Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shady Hoes show. If you don't know who the fuck we are by now, then why are you on our channel? You can't sit with us.
Yes,
Just
you
kidding. You're
can.
always
We love
welcome.
new
You're
people.
always welcome. You're always welcome. Anyway, that was just me being a bitch. It's almost a full moon, y'all. Be prepared. All right. So today we're going to be talking about killing people. Not really. We're going to
Yeah,
be
we
talking
are.
about crimes.
Great.
Technically, yes. Technically, we are. So, let's go ahead and introduce the other hoes in the house before we get on to this. So, we're gonna go to Couture.
Hi,
Is she
I'm
dead?
Couture Hill.
Every time it's like blanks.
I'm always late because I'm always fucking, I don't know, I'm just always doing shit. I don't know, like I'm always like spaced out. Anyway, I
Is she on
just
her
work
computer looking
here.
at cabins in the fucking woods somewhere where it's snowing?
Literally, I cannot focus for the fucking life of me, but that's me, Couture Hill. Don't follow me on
Oh,
Instagram, it's boring.
Yes, we're boring.
I
oh
can't
goodness.
help it.
So, it's me again. It's Stage Trinity. I did our last episode, and because I have issues with wanting to be in charge of everything, I'm taking this one as well. It was going to be Amanda's, but I took it. It's fine.
Damn.
It's true crime. Because
Sorry, Amanda.
what I
It's
do a lot when
really
I'm
all
at work,
good.
yeah, no, trying to help people who got in accidents is I listen to true crime podcasts while I'm working because that's what helps my ADD. And I know a lot of shit I don't probably need to know about that I've learned over the last 3 to 4 years. So
Absolutely.
She be
I
like
want
at
to
work.
talk
Oh,
about.
bitch, you think you got problems? Well, let me tell you what I'm hearing through my earphones right now.
Let me.
Oh my
Ooh, yeah,
god.
pause. I listen to like Cult Leader, Morbid, The Crimes of Passion, Crime Junkie, all those kinds of things. So shout out to those podcasts if you want to go listen to them. None of them know I exist, but I just gave you a sponsor. Pay me. Any. um,
Love that. Love that.
so what we're doing in this episode is I have some unsolved true crime murders.
Mystery.
It's gonna be dead people. I don't know. This isn't TikTok. I can say dead and shit. Um, so I'm gonna give you like some rundowns of what the gist of the murder was. I'm also gonna tell you who it is before we do it to see if my friends are as into this as I am and know anything about these crimes. Then we're gonna kind of go over some theories because all the ones I'm doing again are unsolved and have lots of thoughts. And the one I'm starting with, which is the one that I think kind of really started an interest in this unsolved true crime phenomenon, is Miss John Bonet Ramsey. So you guys tell me what you know about Jean Bonet,
I
if you
just
know anything.
know, right?
Crickets.
I just know that she literally I know they have a house in Atlanta or had, excuse me, she fucking
Hmm.
died. Um that was insensitive. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's this bitch.
Just
It's
say what
It's
you
this
need
always
to say.
bitch.
something with me. I just know that like there's so many theories, and for for somebody that comes from a family like hers, somebody that is, really rich, it's just weird to me that her shit is unsolved to this day.
Hmm.
Who killed
That's
that
what happens when
baby?
you have money. That's what happens
Who
when you have
killed
money.
her? It
So
just
Money made her
bothers
disappear.
me. Who killed the baby? Who killed her? She had so much life to live, and she
yeah,
just was an innocent child. I don't understand. So that's what I know about it.
yeah, because John
Girl.
Bonet is an interesting one for me because she would have been a month older than I am, so we would have been the same age. So this is just a throw
No.
out there because she was
Oh my
6 when she died. I was 6. So TJ, do you know anything about Miss John Bonet?
Girl, she looks like Amanda.
You think she what?
Amanda's really John Bonet.
The
I'm
mystery's
actually
been
John
solved, y'all.
Bonet, and I'm actually 7 years older than
Are we going into our theories of Avril Lavigne again? Are you really John
Are you
Bonet
Oh,
about
have,
Ramsey?
to say?
there is a theory that Katy Perry is John Bonet. That's somebody's actual theory. If you want to go look that
I've
one up.
seen that one. I
She
used to.
has her eyes.
She does. I literally was like, yeah, that's it. Like Katy Perry definitely is John Bonet.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
I will
that's
say this. I will say this. I don't really know anything about this. Now, I remember when I was watching my boy Aphrodite on YouTube, who was doing like celebrity tarot readings. He was doing his true crime tarot, and then I saw this girl, and I thought, "Who the fuck is this bitch?" And I didn't watch it because I don't know why, but now I'll actually watch it and find out what happened to this girl.
well, I'm gonna tell you what happened to John Bonet. Though again, it's unsolved. So the gist of what happened to John Bonet, I'm going to try to summarize this because obviously there's a lot to it. But so John Bonet, she was 6 and she was found dead in her parents' basement on December 26th. So they had like gone out to a Christmas party, come home. Her mother said she put her to bed, and then when they woke up, they couldn't find her. So that's the gist. They weren't able to find her. So they called 911. You can listen to the 911 call. Um, there's some weird stuff with the 911 call where they think they hear them saying some things at the end, like, "What have you
Mm.
done?" So there's a theory that they're thinking this could be the brother. We'll talk about
It
that.
was the
There was
butler.
a there was a ransom note written um, demanding $118,000 for them to release Jean Bonnet. There's a theory as well that this letter was actually written by the parents because they asked for the exact amount of John Ramsey's Christmas bonus. And this note was written on paper found in the house with a
Mm.
pen in the house. And they
You
found
messy.
drafts in the trash can. So, also, when she went missing, Jean Bonnet's mother also called friends and they came into the house and began to clean the house.
Mm.
Um, you could either think of this as Southern hospitality, oh, you're panicking, let's clean your house for you, or we're wiping away a lot of evidence that some people maybe have known about. But
Yeah.
the actual way that she died is they found her in the basement 7 hours after she was reported missing. She had a broken skull where she'd been hit in the
Oh
head.
my
She'd been strangled with a garrote, which was made from one of her mother's paintbrushes. So that's where the garrote had come from.
God.
And
Oh
they said that
wow.
she had suffocated and had um, craniocerebral trauma. There's
Damn.
also the fact in these little, other theories that possibly the family is in her autopsy. She had pineapple in her stomach, and they had found a bowl of pineapple and milk on the table that her brother had been eating. And they think that maybe she tried to take some pineapple. They got into a fight, and he hit her on the head with a flashlight and accidentally killed her. They did find a flashlight that one of the investigators says matched the dent on her head.
I,
Um,
Wow.
what?
there,
Okay, I know what happened. Hold on. Let me
so,
just pause
there
this.
is DNA evidence, but it does not
No,
match
we don't
anyone in
need
the
that.
family.
We don't need that. I
So, what
need
are
you
your
to.
theories? I know
Okay,
I'm
let
kind
me
of
go first.
biased because I'm
Let
trying
me
to do
go
these
TJ
first.
is
fast.
excited. TJ is so excited. Oh
Let
my
me go
god.
first. Damn it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. While you reading this the whole time, I'm sitting here. It won't let me shit. Look at the image. Can you see the image that I posted in Messenger of her
I'm
brother?
trying. No, but let's see. Oh, there it goes. Yes,
I'm
her
so
brother,
dead.
Why the fuck
Burke.
does man look like he took
Don't
her to
sue
fucking
me.
Mountain Doom?
We're not really saying you did this, but this
No,
is a
I ain't even talking
he.
about this. I'm just talking the fact that you look like fucking Frodo, and you probably threw her to fucking Mountain Doom.
Seriously? Oh my
Does he not look
god.
like Frodo? Am
Hashtag
I
not
crazy?
biased.
He kind of does.
Hashtag.
That's
Oh
what
my
happened. He
god.
threw her into the fucking Mountain Doom like the damn ring.
She was in the basement, not in Mount Doom, and she was
Oh my god,
asphyxiated.
he does. He threw that bitch in Mount Doom.
He yeeted that bitch in the Mountain Doom.
He literally drop kicked her into there. But Mount Doom
Okay,
So,
being their
that's my theory. Next.
So the
But didn't
main
they just
theories.
prove that the brother did it? Like they went on Dr. Phil and some shit.
So he did go to say he didn't do it. Also, an interesting fact is right after they had found out she was dead, the dad immediately tried to book a flight for the entire family to fly out of Atlanta, and the police were like, "Sir, you can't do that."
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh my god. What the
That's not
fuck?
suspicious at all. That's not
Yeah,
suspicious.
that's just rich people
Definitely
brain.
not suspicious, bro.
So
That's
again, I'm going to
nice.
give you a little more info on some of the information, and you can just kind of tell me if you think one of the main three theories are the thing. So again, some of the weird things were the ransom note. This ransom note was again like 2.5 pages long. It would
Oh
have
my
taken someone
god.
a long time to
Oh my
write it.
god.
It had
You're doing too much.
inconclusive.
What happened to the days of clipping out newspapers and spelling out words like that?
This handwriting analysis was compared to the mother's and found inconclusive, but again, it was found on paper from the house in a drawer, a pen in the drawer, and they found drafts in the garbage can. So whoever wrote
Wow.
this note took some time to stand there, make a draft of it, and make another one before they left the house. Just putting that out there.
So they had
So
too much
Wow.
that's
damn time on their hands.
and again, they wanted the exact amount of John Ramsey's Christmas bonus. How would somebody have known that if they weren't like around the family? Just saying, someone who knew the exact amount of his bonus and they asked for it. So, the only people in the house when this happened again were Patsy, John, and Burke. And it told them the note said don't contact friends, but Patsy called the police and her friends and family members and 911. She called like everybody. So she was ignoring what this ransom note told her to do. She called literally everybody. So if she was trying to keep this note actually under wraps, maybe she wouldn't have called everybody. Don't know. So they get a wiretapping thing set up with the cops so they can track the phone where everybody's in there trying to search the house. So again, when they find her, they find out she was strangled. She had a skull fracture. There was no evidence of sexual assault, um, which was, at least a sad she died. Glad there was no sexual assault. The
Right.
garrote they found was made of nylon cord and a broken handle from one of John Bonet's mother's paintbrushes. So it had also come from the house. They said that she had the pineapple in her stomach, which she had to have eaten only a few hours before she had died. Neither John nor Patsy said they fed it to her, but the bowl of pineapple they found did have Burke's fingerprints on it.
Mm.
But Burke said that he slept through the entire night and never heard anything. But he woke up at some point to eat this pineapple, obviously. Um, so those are some clues. The main theories are that the parents did it, the brother did it, or a possible intruder. So what are you guys
Okay,
thinking?
so an intruder came in here and said, "Bitch, if you don't eat this goddamn pineapple, I'm gonna throw you down the stairs."
He threw her down the stairs anyway.
Yeah, he
Okay,
took
look
her down
here,
there,
look here, brother, look here,
strangled
brother.
her, and they
Uh,
searched the basement and did not find her. Went upstairs, went back down the stairs, and then supposedly turned a light on and found her.
Poof. Okay, look here, brother. I'm not saying that we all agree on this, but I am saying that I think we all know who did it, and I think we all know that it's you. So allegedly, maybe. Okay,
Allegedly.
don't sue
So,
us. I ain't got no damn money, so you can't sue
Allegedly.
me, bitch.
yeah, I don't have any money.
What you gonna get out of me? Pineapples? Let me stop.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
So again, this one was in 1996. Here in 2023, it is still unsolved. Um, there are the theories, just of what we think. So this is one of the bigger ones. So how much have either of you learned now of things you didn't know about John Bonet's clues and killers?
I'm gonna be real
I
with
learned who the
you.
killer is.
Oh my god. I'm gonna be real with you, Grace Ellen. I use your government name. I watched one time, I slept through an entire 45-minute documentary of John Bonet. So I had a weird ass dream about it. So I knew a lot of this shit. because it appeared in my dream. But
It's the
yes.
spirits. Bitch, did you kill that girl?
She's John Bonet. That was just John Bonet coming to her. Also, that theory I forgot that we already said, or John Bonet is Katy Perry, despite the fact they found a body. But there you go.
You know what? I think I was born the year. Let me see what year she was murdered. Oh my
96.
God. I was born April 8th of 97. She died December
Are you the
26th.
reincarnation
You
of
are
John Bonet?
reincarnated.
We have to get you to a hypnotherapist.
Oh my God. What
It's your
if they were
past
like,
life, Amanda.
yes, you are the reincarnation of John Bonet?
Who killed you?
Bitch, if I knew, trust me. What a great way to make money if I was a bad person. I could just go. I mean, we're
You're
all
like the
millionaires.
Anastasia survivor lady who's like said she was Anastasia, but wasn't. You
Oh,
could have that life.
yeah. Yeah. Shit.
That crime is solved. We won't talk about that one. We know
No.
who killed Anastasia.
No. Eh,
All right. So
sorry.
now I'm gonna bring up one that you may or may not know. This is one that I have always remembered because it just bothers me about how this happened and that they never found a body. But have either of you heard of the disappearance of Brandon Swanson?
No. Nar.
Okay. Do
No.
you have any knowledge, TJ, of Brandon Swanson?
Brandon Swanson of Marshall, Minnesota, United
Oh.
States, drove his car
Are
into
you
a ditch
Googling?
on his way from celebrating the end of the spring semester. Bitch, just get a cake. You ain't gotta do all this and go missing and shit. Damn. Okay, so
so,
hmm.
so let me tell you what happened to Brandon Swanson. Or, since
Swanson.
TJ is gonna be reading this
Boy, this dude was
Wikipedia
a
article.
nerd. Did you see him?
Okay,
Lord,
first off,
Urkel
Oh
alert.
my
this dude
gosh.
was only
First of
19.
all,
Back off, bitch.
that is a child that you are commenting on.
He's 19 years old.
I know,
Yes.
but I've worked with some 19-year-olds and they are mentally fucking children.
Urkel alert.
Well, while TJ's is being rude to a dead man, I'm gonna tell you what happened
Oh
to
my
him.
God.
Uh,
Oh, rest in peace, Swanson.
so
But
what
damn,
happened
these
was that
glasses though.
bitch. Brandon Swanson, on May 13th, 2008, had just finished his first year at community college. So they were having parties, as teens and slightly older teens do, even when you're not supposed to be drinking. They do that. Um, so he and some friends celebrated in a town called Canby, and then they had kind of like did some party hopping. But his friends say that though he drank, he never appeared intoxicated. They were like, he had like maybe a shot of whiskey, but they were very adamant that he never appeared intoxicated or unable to drive himself, which he did do. He left the party just after midnight. So he's driving home, and he was going to drive from Canby to his parents' house, which was in Marshall. And they said the distance to do this would have been about a 30-minute drive. And they stressed that he did this
45.
drive a lot, going to and from. Shut up! Going to and from
Oh my God.
where he was going. So at about 1:15 a.m., Swanson got his car stuck in a ditch. So he apparently was trying to go down this road, realized maybe something wasn't he wasn't where he thought he was, which we later, or he was like, oh wait, I've taken a wrong turn, and he went to go move his car and ended up getting himself stuck in a ditch. So he tried to call his friends, nobody would answer. So he finally called his parents at almost about 2 a.m. and told them that his car was stuck in a ditch, but he couldn't get traction to get out. He was not completely sure where he was, but he told his parents he was not injured and he was going to wait in his car for them to come help him. And again, he said he knew where he was. He told them this is exactly where I am. So they were like, sure, we'll come get you. So they drive toward where he's at. He stays in his car, and they're on the phone the whole time. Like it would occasionally disconnect, but they would call back and pick up. and he tells them that he's flashing his lights. And they're like, we don't see anything. We don't see you. So they're kind of getting like upset with each other because he swears he knows where he is. They have gone to where he says he was at, which was near Lint. And he said, flashing my lights, flashing my lights. They're like, we don't see it. We don't see it. So they're kind of, arguing back and forth because they can't find him. He swears he knows where he's at. So we've all been in this situation. You think you know where you're at, and you're mad at your parents. This is where he's at. So he
Yeah.
tells them, okay, this is what I'm going to do. He says, I'm going to get out of the car because he knows where he is. So he says he knows where he is, and that he's going to walk to a parking lot of a local bar that is nearby where there are
Bitch.
lights. There, because he said he knew where he was. There are lights in that parking lot. He said, I'm going to go wait in that parking lot. Just come pick me up. We'll stay on the phone the whole time. So they're on the
Good
phone.
lord.
He's walking. He's been walking about almost an hour, and they're talking as he's walking through fields. And his dad hears him say, "Oh shit!" And the phone drops, and they never hear anything from him again. The phone does not disconnect. It's still connected. His parents stressed they did not hang up. They left it connected for a little bit, then hung up so they could call back. And they called back, called back, called back, and he never picked up. And no one has heard from him since. The last thing he said to his parents was, "Oh shit," dropped the phone, and they never heard from him. They never found the body. They went and brought dogs out there. They went and looked into the water. They looked through the farms. They found out he wasn't where he thought he was, which explained them not being able to find him. But they never found his body or what happened to him.
Bitch, this just screams Children of the Corn.
Oh my god. What is up with you and these children of the corn?
Like, tell me this ain't the kind of scenario that would be. Runs into these. Mm, bitch, for a
That's
nerdy looking dude, you
terrifying.
don't have a lot of common sense.
That is horror. So, first of all, young people, if you're listening, young people, even if your friend seems okay, especially if you're under 21, do not let them drive home. Okay, first of all, do not let them drive home, even if they've had like one or two drinks. They swear they're okay, and some people might be, but do not let your friend drive home. Let them spend the night. Just be like, hey, I. Even if it makes you look like a total cuck, like literally, just fucking do it. Okay, like this is a prime example of he whatever happened to him could have been avoided if they had just told him to stay and had his parents pick him up, because his
Mm-hmm.
parents sound like the parents that would have picked him up and they could have just got his car the next day, like dead ass.
Yeah. So, and they
Brandon,
found his car. They did find his car in a completely different place than he said he was. And they said there was really nothing wrong with the vehicle other than it was stuck. So it wasn't like he had like crashed or anything. They found the vehicle and they followed his path he would have taken from the vehicle, which, bordered along a river. They thought he maybe had fallen into the river. They sent dogs that tracked it to the river, but then they tracked his path coming out of the river. So his parents don't think that he drowned, but they just don't know where his body ended up. But there
did this
are some theories. But go ahead and tell me maybe what you think before I tell you theories.
did this boy not have a GPS?
This was
It
It's
was like
2008.
2008.
2008, yeah.
G-
As
okay,
you
so
know, if you were
GPS.
in 2008, we had flip phones and you could not get on the internet on them without doing shit, and they did not really give you GPS. Like those weren't even maps was not a
Girl,
phone thing at that
It
time.
was not like you had to print out math.
okay. Okay, when
Yeah.
did iPhones become popular? When did that become popular? Why am I so out
Like
of it?
2014, literally.
Really? Okay. Never mind. I was gonna be
Well,
like
yeah, because we
Swanson.
were
Why
still
didn't you
on
drop a
the
pin?
T9. We couldn't if you because this is when I had my envy. You could T9. There was internet, but you didn't have like apps. You didn't have maps. Like so, he was doing his best to try to stay on the phone with his parents, but he didn't have a GPS or a map.
Oh, see, that's just so scary. Being out in the country, you don't know where the fuck you are. Mm-mm, no, baby. No,
Hmm.
it's got to be sunlight before I go out anywhere. I don't
And it's
know.
not, yeah, because it very well could be. We also don't know. One thing about this case is I've listened to a morbid podcast about this.
Yeah.
The name just did not ring a bell when you said it, Grace. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're
Uh,
fine.
the thing about this is we don't know there, at least for me, like there aren't a whole bunch of dirty details about Brandon's personal life. What kind of relationship did he have with his friends? What kind of relationship did he have with his parents? Maybe very well he could have staged his own like disappearance. Maybe he literally did disappear. Or maybe he was naive trying to find somebody on the internet or something, and this was his plan to like get out of like a situation and it just turned bad. It's so random. Or maybe he just really did have bad luck, was drunker than he had anticipated, and fucking fell into a river and just got carried away. It happens, unfortunately.
I definitely think that he in some way or another met an unfortunate end, but because I mean I don't think you because I don't I think if he was trying to have met somebody because I'm doing multiple ones, I'm not going deep into all the backstory on these,
Right,
but
right.
anybody who's listening feels free to look it up. Um, I do believe that something happened because he was trying to get his parents to come to him. He could have just taken his car and gone off somewhere and met somebody else and then left in a safer way than
Right,
wandering out in a field at like 2 in the morning when he couldn't see. Because
right.
he so that my theory on that part. I know that there's some theories are, of course, that he fell in the water, that he possibly fell in an open well. Another theory was that he fell in the water, got out of the water, he wandered into one of the farms, passed out, laid down, and was run over by farm equipment because some of the farmers would not let them search their land. Um,
That's right.
Damn.
I remember. That's right. They think he got dismembered. Um, because Morbid was talking about like why the fuck, if you knew like that wouldn't happen, why the fuck wouldn't you just let the police search your
yeah,
shit? But then
and
also, I know farmers, and they're of my dad's friends variety, and they're all crazy. They did acid in their early 20s, and it has rotted their minds beyond belief. And they are paranoid. So yeah, there's that too.
so that's fair.
Damn.
So TJ, from your listening for this one, what's your theory on this? What could have possibly have happened with the limited details I have given you?
Well, first off, Brandon, even though you're in heaven, and the family, I'm sorry I called you a nerd. You cute. Okay. Second off, even though you cute, you did something very stupid. And kids that are watching this and adults that are watching this, don't be like Brandon. Are you gonna end up being on Unsolved Mysteries, and we're gonna end up talking about you?
Oh
With
I
your
god.
think
last
this
words
boy.
being "oh shit."
I think it was Ghost. No, I'm kidding. I just think this motherfucker got lost. It was kind of like the Blair Witch Project. They go in the woods, they don't come out.
Absolutely.
This is why I don't
Yeah,
fuck with wood. And I live by the woods. You don't know what's in the woods, especially when it's dark.
You
Mm-mm.
really don't.
No,
You
you
really
don't.
no,
fucking don't.
no,
I
no,
think the
baby.
main thing with this one, it's just because they never found a body, and I'm like, there's got there had to have been something somewhere where someone found something and never said
Well, they
anything.
live with They live around farmers. These motherfucker probably chopped this bitch up and fed him to the cows. No wonder they
Pigs.
didn't find it. Pigs,
Yeah, I was like
whatever,
cows or buffalo.
It would be pigs.
whatever. Pig.
You did not learn that from me. Just because pigs will eat anything, you did not learn that from me. But I don't know. I just
Or
feel like somebody knew
research.
something and they didn't say anything, and I just this one sticks with me because I just like what happened to you, and we'll probably never know. His parents will never know, but just because most unsolved ones you have a body and you could do an autopsy, there just wasn't a body, and yeah,
That's the worst part, is not knowing like exactly what happened to them, like their fate. Like at least with like not saying that like murder victims have it easy, or like their families have it easy, but like you definitely know they're gone.
Yeah, like with John Bonet, they found the body, they knew she was dead. Doesn't make it easier, but at least you get to know where they are, lay them to rest. His parents didn't get to do that closure,
Right.
and yeah,
They might die. Like they have a real possibility of passing away and not ever knowing what happened to their son. Like ever.
yeah.
Damn, this sucks, bro.
Happy
He's just
Valentine's
gone.
Day.
He's just
Yeah.
Yep.
gone.
So
Damn.
so that's why that one sticks with me. I'm gonna move on to another one before I just keep harping on how they don't find the body. This one you may or may not have seen a video clip from this one. You probably know at least what happened if you don't know all the details, which is the Cecil Hotel and Eliza Lamb. It sound familiar at all?
Oh my
American Horror
god. I
Story.
yeah.
It did get adapted. Her actual death was adapted into some stories. So with what you do know, you guys together tell me what you know, and I'll fill in details that are actually happened or not happened.
Shit, I don't remember. I know it ain't got anything to do with vampires, and that's the only thing I remember about American Horror Story. Lady Gaga and vampires. So, Couture, you take over from here.
Oh my gosh. So I just know her case actually like really interested me a lot. Like I have been obsessed with her story. Um I know that she had like a Tumblr blog.
Mhm.
She was kind of like, what is that word? Like anti, like she was really just into herself. Like she just was an introvert. She was just kind of floating around. I know that like when she got to the Cecil Hotel, she was like from Canada. Um, it was like what is that? It was like a hostel sort of deal, so you could have
Mhm.
like roommates there. It was like for young people, and her roommates were like, "This bitch is acting fucking crazy," and like she had mental illness. I don't know if she wasn't taking her medicine or what, but they were like, "She's acting fucking crazy," and she would just go in and out of elevators and shit. So that's like all I know. That it was like really gross. She ended up in a fucking water tank at the hotel, and people were drinking her like corpse water, which is like
Mhm.
why I literally bring my own water wherever we go. I refuse to drink hotel water specifically because of that case. Like I no.
It's the
Okay.
spirits. It's the
So,
spirits.
TJ, I don't know if you've seen it, but I did put it in the chat, which is the hotel footage of her in the elevator. If you want to look over that while I recap, it's like essentially Amanda has gotten it pretty much what happened through like the basic details of it. So with a little bit more detail to it, Eliza Lamb, she was 21, so again she was
Oh,
very
I think I
very
remember
young.
seeing this.
Um, and she was going on a solo journey, kind of like across, um, I don't remember directions. I just totally forgot. But she was over going on a solo journey across America. I think more toward we're east to the west side of it. Yes. So she had gone to the Cecil Hotel, as stated. She was staying in a hostel type room where she could stay with other people. And they were basically saying that she was being kind of erratic. She was telling them they couldn't come in the room if they didn't have a password. She was just kind of like all over the place, like with them, and they were like, we can't have this. So the hotel ended up putting her in a single room. Now, Eliza Lamb, she was bipolar. They did find some of her medication when they did her autopsy, but they weren't sure if she was taking it like she was supposed to. Um, uh, I I I have not had to take bipolar medication, luckily for myself. So I'm not really sure what symptoms are. I don't know if Amanda wants to talk about any of that, because I think you're on some different meds than me. So I'm not really sure what your brain is on or off.
If I'm off my bipolar medication, again, I become fucking paranoid. I lose my shit. Like I at least for me, like if I don't take them, I notice. And Some people like don't like to take their meds. I know how bad I am off of them, so I do make a point to take them. Other people are different. Everybody, bipolar disorder is not like, just straight across the
Hmm.
um bored. Like everybody has like
Yeah.
different symptoms. It presents in different ways, but I get paranoid and I get fucking weird, like especially if I'm off the meds. Like the withdrawals are almost worse than when I was before I started the medication. So that's just like a little insight for me. Again, everybody's different, but that's, my take on it.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
bringing up again, she was suffering from bipolar and depression. She had medications. They did find some of the medication in her system. They're just not sure exactly when the last date that she took the medication was. So they said the night right before her disappearance, she had gone to a taping of Conan because that's where she was, and then they had to escort her off because she was having such disruptive behavior. So she
Wow.
was having a lot of issues, and her parents said that they were calling her every day, to check in. This was pre-established because they were worried about her. They were going to check in with her every day, and then they did not hear from her, so they called the Los Angeles police and wanted them to kind of go check to see what was going on for their daughter. Now, the way that they actually figured out where she was, which is Amanda's favorite part, it sounds like, is some of the hotel guests were reporting that their water pressure was off and there was a weird taste to the water,
Ugh,
which
God.
made them have to have someone go up and check the water tanks. And after the amount of time that it took this person to get up there, you had to go up to the top of the stairs, go to the top of the building, climb up a ladder, get to the water tank. And the maintenance worker said that he had noticed that the um, I don't know if like the little, it wasn't like it's a door, it's like a flap on, like trap door, something on the top was open, and he could see her floating naked. Her
Oh my
clothes were in there, but
god.
she was
Yeah.
naked, about like 12 inches from the top, and they had to cut the tank open and drain it to get her body out because there was no way for them to get it out otherwise. Um, so there's a mystery about how she got up there, what happened. Um, there was someone who owned a bookstore that said that they had saw Eliza when she was still alive. She said that the Eliza went in there, bought books, music. She talked about going back home to see her family. So she's like, it sounded like she was wanting to go home. She was not in all seeming like she was suicidal, which is kind of what they were saying happened.
Yeah.
But again, they said that autopsy, she was had medical drugs in her system, medications for her bipolar disorder, but there was no like alcohol or illegal substances that they found in her body. So you also have that hotel video that you can find on YouTube. Again, I sent it to TJ. I know he probably watched some of it, of her just acting weird, like looking in and out of the elevator, pressing all the buttons, crouching, so you can't really tell if she's seeing anybody or not. There's a lot of theories. So, what are you guys thinking?
I'm oh, I want to hear TJ's like point of view. POV.
Mm,
POV.
So, let me just give you
I'm
a little
not.
bit of detail, TJ. To get to where she was in the Cecil Hotel, you had to go to the 15th floor of the hotel, walk up a staircase to the roof, turn off the rooftop alarm, climb up a platform where the four water tanks were, and then climb another ladder to get inside. Just, you would have had to do a lot to get to where she was.
Just throwing that out there.
And she was naked.
Naked.
Mm,
So there were
I'm.
alarms, but they were
I'm
not
never.
triggered.
I am never going to not rule out ghosts.
Okay.
Period. It ain't vampires, so I'm sorry, Lady
It's
Gaga, but
not
it ain't
vampire.
vampires. I'm never not going to rule out being possessed. In this case, though, if she did not commit suicide herself, then there was multiple people that probably gangbanged her and threw her in the thing.
Oh my goodness. No.
You don't think? Because it's going to take more than one person to try and get her up there.
Well, okay, so depending on how bad if she was, okay, so like people who go like Alyssa, I don't know what was up with her. I forget most of the details of this case because like I can't like reference them right now from memory. But if you feel like socially out of place and you feel like, you know, somebody's if she felt stressed out, she very well, like if she stopped taking her medication, she could have started like actually like disassociating and like to an unhealthy amount where she would have just like started creating like a false reality for herself. And I mean literally this is real. This shit
Maybe she went
happened.
in there to hide. Maybe she went in there to hide, not knowing what
Right.
it
I
was.
can't
Oh,
help
okay,
but
okay.
think that she was hiding from something and she didn't know because a lot of people, it's easy to get in those water things, but it is not easy to get out. Like, you can't get out by yourself.
Of course, then again,
And
hiding naked. I don't really know about that, but
maybe she took off her clothes. Maybe she realized, like, oh, like, they're going to know if I got in the water tower, if I get down and my shit is soaking wet, I'm going to just, leave my clothes somewhere and go up there. Like,
Well, her clothes were, if I remember correctly, I think they were in the water tank with her. She just wasn't wearing them.
interesting.
Which I
hmm.
know a sensory thing. Maybe she's like, "Oh, I got to take these off" or something like that. I mean,
Well,
we
they
don't know what
told
happened in there.
right because like maybe like your clothes when they're wet, they're very heavy. Like you have to remember like water adds weight, and also like they tell you in survival like cotton kills. So like
hmm
cotton will make you colder and lower your body temperature. So maybe in her panic, she like took off her clothes in there and was like, I'm actually going to die in here, unfortunately. Now if they can tell if she already died, um, well, okay, she did drown in there, so we don't
Yeah,
know. I wonder if there were any like if it can be released that there was any like indication that she tried to get out of there, like were her like nails all messed up or what? I don't know.
hmm. I don't know. Let me look for that because that's something I didn't think about. But that would right there.
That she like tried to get out of there, like she, because if she was already like knocked out, obviously the autopsy said that she hadn't had any illegal
Mm-hmm.
substances. um if she was actively alive before she went in there, um she would have clawed out, she would have tried to get herself out.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if they actually checked that because I haven't really seen anything on it. I'm kind of just looking at stuff for it. I don't think that she was trying to commit suicide because that seems like like if she was gonna drown her. They said that people, if you're gonna do suicide, drowning is not a common way people decide to do that.
No, they
It's
don't.
and if she was like, I'm gonna drown myself, then she possibly would have used the bathtub or something like that.
She would have like
I,
jumped off a bridge, like she literally would have just like
yeah.
jumped off a bridge or some shit.
So I mean, your hiding things kind of makes more sense to me than them saying, because I didn't think of it that way, but that makes much more sense to me than her like in a suicidal thought going and putting herself in the water tank. Because that's a lot of effort to get up there just to drown yourself. Because there was a lot of quicker, less painful ways that she could have killed herself if that's what she was trying
Exactly.
to do.
I really think like in her, like maybe she was going through some sort of psychosis. She really thought she was hiding from something. Like,
Okay, so this theory, because I'm looking at now, says that they think that when she got in the water tank, the levels were higher, but then when people started using the water, she couldn't reach the top anymore, and then that's when she kind of drowned.
Damn.
yeah, that could be it.
So another one that's weird, like the hiding theory works for me. That one is I think makes most sense. I haven't really seen that one anywhere, but that just makes more sense to me than her like suiciding because it was like alarms and stuff up there. The doors were locked. Like
Yeah.
if she accidentally made her way up there to hide from something and like turned all that stuff off or found a way or stole some key from somebody, that makes much more sense than her just going up there to kill herself because there was a lot of steps she would have had to taken to get up there with no one knowing she was up there.
Oh no, totally. Like you could have done something. anything. Anything.
Yeah, so that one's
Um,
so TJ, what are your final thoughts on Miss Lamb and the water tower? And yeah.
it's just it's a shame. It's a damn shame. I think she was crazy looking, but it's a shame that that had to happen.
Again, it's a weird one. Also, I think just for TJ's paranormal notes, I think 16 other people have died in the Cecil Hotel. So,
Lord have mercy,
And that you got to remember
Spirit.
that Richard Ramirez, the Richard Ramirez link, essentially.
Okay,
so
Grace, before you go on, I do want to ask because we are getting close to our hour mark.
mhm.
Please tell me you had the Gabby Petito theory in there because I really want to talk about that.
Well, we can go over a little bit an hour if we want to. People, you're either gonna listen or you're not. Fuck you guys. Um,
Oh,
I
god
have
damn.
actually two more I'm gonna do, but we can wrap up with Gabby Petito if you want to talk about that one. I'll let you lead that one. Um,
I don't really know much about it, but I've been watching like true crime tarots on it, and it's just very
so
interesting.
we'll go through the two more I have. I'll try to not make them go super long, and then we'll wrap up with Gabby Petito. So I'm gonna do one more with like a named person, and then we're gonna kind of end on one I think it's just kind of weird. Um, so the next one I'm doing, which again you may or may not know, this is also one kind of I think that deals with some mental illness, and it was handled horribly. Is Matrice Richardson? Are either of you familiar with Matrice Richardson?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so oh, sorry, EG. So Matrice Richardson, this one, she was 24. Again, another relatively young person that these things are happening to. Um, so this one, I believe, 2009, it's September 17th, 2009 was when this one happened. So what happened in this one was it was in September of 2009. Matrice entered the parking lot of this fancy restaurant in Malibu. Um, and some of the patrons and the staff and people, in general, were saying that she was acting kind of bizarre. She was being kind of weird and that she was unable to pay her $89 bill for the restaurant. So, again, she had gone in there. She was acting weird. She ran up a tab. She was not able to pay her tab. Now, if I remember this correctly, because I'm trying, there's some other things about it that she had wanted to call her grandmother to get her grandmother to pay the bill over the phone, and they would not let her do that. They instead called the police. And um, if it needs to be said, Matrice is an African American woman, so in Malibu, could not pay a bill, so they called the police on her instead of letting her call someone to pay. So
Wow.
Wow.
uh, she was taken by officers and arrested, and they took, I think, her phone, her purse, any money that she had, and her car, and that was towed to a tow yard, and then she was booked at the Malibu Station Police Department. Now they called her mother and let them know that she was at the police station, and they let's see, I think, and they searched her car. They didn't find anything out of place in the car. There was like a little bit of marijuana and like a little bit of alcohol,
Oh my
but
god,
not,
everybody. Yeah.
yeah, nothing like hard drugs,
Was it
nothing that
like
were
she
like,
had literal cocaine and like 10 pounds of it?
yeah. So and So I'm thinking, she was maybe a little juiced when she went to the restaurant and they said she was acting weird, but because maybe she had some stuff, maybe she was going through some mental stuff. But either way, they established she went in, she was acting weird, and instead of like trying to let her have someone pay so she could, go out and do whatever, they called the police on her. And they didn't take into account she's acting weird. They're like, you're gonna go to the police. So they I lost my track of where I was at. Okay, so she's in the police station, and her mother is called, um, and they tell her that she's at the station, and I think she needs someone. They'll need someone to come pick her up. Now, her mother lived like 30 minutes away, if I remember correctly, and she had a 10-year-old daughter. So she asked them if they would keep Matrice overnight until she was able to the next day go down and get her, since she was already going to have to stay overnight anyway. And they assured her that Matrice was going to be safe in the police station. Um, and they weren't going to release her that night. So again, her mother was not going to drive down there immediately because they said they weren't going to release her. So she's like, I'll go in the morning. I'm not going to, make my daughter my 10-year-old go down there and sit all night and wait for the station to open if you're not going to release her till the morning. So this is why her mother didn't go right then. It's not that she wouldn't have. They just said they were not going to release her. She was going to be safe. They said to her mother, she is going to be safe. But um, sometime, before her mother got there, they released Matrice and just they let her go. They did not
My Lord have
keep her
mercy.
there um, safe as her mother had asked and had them assure her that they would keep her safe until she got there. So she is walking around with no cell phone, no money, no car. They just let her walk out with knowing that she had been acting weird and she was, the reason they called to put her in jail is because she was acting bizarre. So when her mother calls the station, they're like, "Oh, we don't have her anymore," and she's like, "I need to file a missing persons report because now I don't know where my daughter is and I can't reach her." And they were like, "No, not right now. You have to wait 24 hours." Again, you do not have to wait 24 hours to file a missing persons report. I know that's a theory. You do not have to do that. They may fight you about it, but there is no you do not have to wait to file a missing persons report even if it's an adult. You don't have to do that. And they didn't find her. Um they were not able to find her. Um she wandered off somewhere in in Malibu and didn't contact her family, and they ended up eventually finding her dead body.
Oh my gosh.
um, yeah, and this is just one where I'm kind of like more on the police on this one. Like, if you knew something was wrong and you said you told her mother, "We'll keep her here so you can come pick her up," I don't think they should have just released her with no money, no phone, nothing, just to let her like wander off. Um, into the nowhere because she wasn't from there. She was down there visiting, and then she just they did not do the missing persons like report for her for like a few hours. So she could have been wandering somewhere, and somebody could have seen her and not known that her mom was wanting to pick her up, uh, because they wouldn't do that for her. So yeah,
Wow.
they
Sounds
eventually.
like police negligence. What a surprise.
So yeah, that's one where not too much of like mystery, like she obviously had some mental issues going on, but this is one where I want to say like sometimes police attribute to these things. Just listen to people. So
Just lack
the
of care, just literal lack of care whatsoever.
I am so not
so
surprised the police are involved in this. It is not a surprise at all. Oh God.
yeah, so like I said, this one we know that she passed away. Um, we're just not really sure what happened.
Or
Like,
when
uh,
exactly. We don't know. Like I sorry, I was reading up on this case.
and
It's
she was I think naked when they found her too.
well, and she
Um,
was
Lord have
decapitated. Her
mercy.
skull was away from her
yeah,
body. They found her a year later.
so they were like, "Oh, animals! Oh, she was bitten by a rattlesnake." And I'm not sure if I think this is the one. And I gotta go look some more details. I was just writing short portions of these for this one. Is that someone saw her walking through his yard but didn't know he needed to call anybody on her?
Yes,
Like,
like he literally like he was walking through an old well, she was walking through. He was like an actual like newscaster, and he was like, "Hey, like, are you okay? Can I call somebody for you?" And she was like, "No, I'm just resting." And it was like random, and
Right?
he did call the police, and then like, but she had wandered off again.
Yeah, but like if someone
Wow.
had like put a picture out, or like if you knew we're looking for somebody, he might have, been more inclined to be like, you know what, why don't you come with me, rather than just walking away from it, because you
Yeah.
can call the
Yeah.
police. But if you don't, if you had known they were actively looking for somebody, then that, I feel like that was a step that could have helped. I don't know. This is
Yeah.
just one was weird. I didn't think they should have let her go. I don't. I think that the restaurant should have just. I mean, let her grandma pay the bill for one, and then maybe like be like, hey, you have someone we can call for you, or if we're calling grandma and you let her pay, maybe we should be like, hey, grandma, maybe you should come pick her up. Like, this is a
Literally.
weird one.
Like they literally could have done so much more. Like it could have, it didn't have to. It was just a perfect storm of bad things, one right after the other.
Yes, this is one where, I mean, it's unsolved in the sense I don't really think there was foul play done to her. I think she was having some mental issues, and she was just, there was negligence by everyone around this one that kind of caused this one, and it makes me upset.
Yeah, that's
All
sad.
right.
That's a shame.
So now my last weird one, and then I'll look up some Gabby Petito. This one is the Isdal woman. Have y'all heard of the Isdal woman?
Yes.
No,
So
I have
what
not.
do you know about the Isdal woman?
I know that people thought like she was a spy or something.
Right? Yes.
And
Yes, they did.
I was just like, okay, weird. Like that's all I know. I'm just like, it's weird to me. It's really creepy. This one is very creepy to me, and I don't know why, but that's all I know. They were like, this bitch, we have nothing on her. Like, who the
Yes.
fuck? Yeah.
So hers is kind of similar to the Somerton man, but I think hers is just also weirder in its own sense, is because this one is ruled as a suicide, but like when you when you look at the details, you're like, but is it though?
I
Because
mean, being burned alive. Come on.
yes, like, so for TJ, this was like in the 1970s. So this guy and like his daughters were out hiking, and they smelled a burning smell, and they found the charred body, and they're like, oh shit, we gotta call the police. So I have the message. Oh, okay. So essentially, as Amanda was saying, they don't know who this woman is because she went by so many different identities that no one knows who she actually is. So she was found burned. Um, there was no campfire or anything like near her. The front of her was basically unrecognizable. There was an empty bottle of liquor near her, some plastic water bottles, passport containers, boots, sweaters, stockings, umbrella, purse, matchbox, watch, earrings, rings, burned paper, and a fur hat, which had petrol on it. But any of the clothing had like all the tags and everything cut out. So you wouldn't even know where it was bought from. You wouldn't know who owned it. None of that, because all of that had been cut out. And then
Wow.
3 days later, after they found this body, some investigators found suitcases at a railway station that had 100. I can never say this correctly. Is Deutschmark notes in it? So she had some money in it. They had clothing, shoes, wigs, makeup, eczema cream, 135 Norwegian kroner, Belgium coins, British coins, Swiss coins, maps, timetables, non-prescription glasses, sunglasses, which had fingerprints that matched the body, cosmetics, and a notepad. So they found suitcases full of supposed spy gear. Now, they found that there was soot in her lungs, so she was burned alive, and she had bruising on her neck, and she had consumed somewhere between 50 and 70 sleeping pills, and there were more pills around her body. Um, so they're saying suicide. Again, I get like taking the sleeping pills. I don't get how you would set yourself on fire alive. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you just
No.
really want to do that. But they were able to kind of find a trail of where she went by kind of going in the fuck and checking around. Um because she paid everything in cash. She'd written a few checks to kind of see where she traveled. They found that she had traveled with like 8 different passports, different aliases, all had different birthdays. That all her different aliases had different jobs, and she usually went between saying she was German, French, or Belgian, but mostly Belgian. Um, and then when she talked to the salespeople, she was like, "Oh, I'm a saleswoman or I'm an antiques dealer." And another random fact is a lot of people said she smelled like garlic, and
What?
talked about her wigs. So maybe
Oh
her
my
wigs weren't that
gosh.
great, but
I mean, damn.
so that's all we know about her. We don't know anything. That's it. We just know there was this woman who was burned alive, with bruises on her neck. All identifying tags and everything of who she actually was removed from her, and she had suitcases at a train station full of wigs and passports and all this other stuff. And we don't know who she is or how she died or why she died.
Hmm.
Damn.
So what do you think, TJ? Do you think she was a spy? She had to have been something.
I don't know what to think anymore. So I'm gonna say yes. I think the bitch was a spy.
Do you think she killed herself?
uh, no, I don't think she killed
Okay.
herself. No.
So you think this was an
Amanda, what you think?
espionage killing?
I think she was murdered. I think she probably honestly was a spy. Like she the time that she would have like died, I feel like she was probably up to something. Either she was a spy or again hiding from somebody. Maybe it's not that she was a spy as much as maybe she was in some bad shit and they found her and burned her alive with the hopes of getting rid of
Yeah.
evidence, but they just did it really poorly, like very poorly.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
because like I could get the sleeping pills maybe like if you're trying to suicide, but I don't think you would have like been out in the middle of like this Death Valley sort of desert and
no.
taken pills and then
No.
put
No. No.
petrol on
No.
your hat and burned yourself alive with like stuff just surrounding you.
Right, like I don't care how suicidal you are. You don't set yourself on fire. Like you just don't set yourself on firing. You're trying to end your suffering. You're not trying to fucking make it last longer, Like who the fuck?
Right?
So
No.
yeah,
I
that's me.
agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I just think like the same with like Miss Lamb. I don't think that's too many steps for you to take to kill yourself because your brain would probably back out of it before then. Because most
Maybe it was
people
like some
who
kind of oh sorry.
no, you're good. I was just saying most people that have survived a suicide say that like once you start that jump, your brain is immediately like, nope. So
I shouldn't have
I
done this. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's too
So
late to turn
setting
back.
herself on fire is a gnar. Like it's a gnar for me.
Yeah, so
Also, it probably was organized crime because especially if the
yeah.
local authorities were like, it's a suicide. It's like, that sounds like organized crime to me.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I agree. I
yeah.
agree completely.
Yeah. So though it is listed as suicide, I don't think this one is a suicide. I something something happened. Somebody did something to her and didn't get her burned as crispy as they wanted to.
Oh,
um
Lord.
like
No.
yeah. So anyway, I
Ooh.
just think that one's an interesting one because again, there's all these things that they found of hers, but still nobody knows who she is because she literally had so many identities that yeah. So yeah, so those were the ones that I had. So I was able to keep us under an hour, but we will still do some Gabby Petito because we can talk longer if we want to. So TJ, what do you want to start with about Gabby Petito?
It's our party. We can
It's
talk if we
solved.
want.
This one is solved.
Um. So first off, I'm going to say, does anybody know anything about Gabby Petito?
I know that she had the fight with her boyfriend, and I know that I think she was found dead, and then her boyfriend like went on the run, and his parents were like hiding that they knew where he was, and then he wrote a confession letter and killed himself.
Oh
I
my
think.
god.
Damn, girl, you know more than I did. Shit, I just
I listened to
so
true crime.
so that's the thing. Like I could see like I watch still like the true crime tarot, but I didn't know that
Oh
her
my.
body had been found though. I didn't know that her body had been found. All I know is that when I was listening to the story, it was so she went up there with this guy. Um, Apparently some people saw them fighting a lot, and then he comes back from their trip together, and she's not with him. And everybody's like, "Where is she?" And he's like, So I'm just opening up for theories. We don't have to go in depth with it. I just want to see what y'all think about it because this seems sketch as fuck to me. So
That bitch did it. Like he went and wrote a note in a notebook saying he killed her, and then killed himself.
did he?
So yes, yeah, man.
Okay,
I'm telling
well,
you, this was. Let me tell you what happened, TJ. Because
okay,
apparently,
so
you don't
so
listen
this
to
one
enough
is
true
solved.
crime.
My bad, y'all.
Yes, but we could still talk about. So they found her body. They found in her autopsy that she was strangled. They were like, "Yep, she's dead." Um, they saw charges or withdrawals from her debit card coming from her boyfriend after she was missing. So he was taking some of her monies after he had done to do's what he did. Um, he went home, and I think his parents were kind of shielding him. Like he probably was like, I did a shit thing.
His
And
parents should have turned his ass in. His
yeah,
sorry, I'm like, mm-mm, they need to be charged too. They need to absolutely be charged. That's how I feel.
I'm
Anyway,
surprised they were.
because
I
he
really,
went home. hmm
yeah.
he hired a lawyer. Um, so usually when someone hires a lawyer before like talking about stuff, you're like you did a shit. You did a
You
shit.
did something. You are an accessory at best. Okay.
So. Mhm.
Oh my god, the way y'all talk.
Yeah. So he went home to his parents, I believe, and then they saw him like leave, and then he came back, and they're like, "That's him. He's at his parents' house. We know where he at." And then his parents are like, "Oh no, he's missing. We
Yeah.
ain't seen him." And they're like, "Nah, bitch, we got footage of him going into the house, bitch." And then that's what they said. I don't know if it actually was, but that's what they said. But then they ended up finding his, I believe, skeletal remains
Oh
at
my
some point
god.
next to a notebook. And in the notebook, he wrote what he had done to Gabby, and he had killed himself.
Wow.
But
Okay, well I guess it's solved. I did not realize that. Damn.
yeah, this kind of like I
Y'all
think wrapped up around like October of last year, where they found his body. They don't really know how he died. They said they couldn't tell with the autopsy, but then they said that they think he shot himself in the head. So I'm pretty sure if he did that and he wrote whatever he wrote that he did it.
Hmm.
I don't think he was just trying to what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think he was innocent and then just trying to save himself from having to go to jail. I think he did it because he wrote that he did it. So
He definitely did it. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. The motherfucker did it. Did it. He's a motherfucker. Bastard.
Couture, oh my god, I love you.
I love you, but he
You're like,
is.
this motherfucker did it.
He is a
He did.
motherfucker.
So yeah, he
Damn.
did some bad shit. He killed himself. There was no actual justice in this one because he took that away from the family by being, a
Yes.
coward.
Right. I'm like, bitch, like face the consequences. Gabby didn't want to die, and you don't want to face your consequences, but she's dead, so just let her dad just fucking hit you with a baseball bat till you fucking explode, you bastard. Like I
That
hate
would be a
this.
good option.
Like, what a pussy ass bitch. Like, I hope hell is real. Like, I hate saying that hell is real. Like, I don't want to believe that hell is real. But, like, then I listen to cases like this, or like John Benet Ramsey, or like other shit. And I'm like, I hope hell is real for those people. Like, just, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think there's definitely somewhere that they go, like whether it's specifically hell or like some of the seven rings you go to down there. I think you definitely have like some sort of like long fucking punishment that you have to go to for doing the shit that you do. And I think like even from what I remember from the Bible, even like if you just do like some petty shit, like you still have to go through your trial by fire to get
That's
into
Yeah.
heaven.
fair.
So they're doing something somewhere, whether they're just sitting in fire for all eternity or like having to have someone stab them for all eternity. I don't know. I feel like you should have to relive what you did to somebody for all eternity if you're a murderer. Like
That's
you
so
should have to
true.
have it done to you, and you have to feel every part of it.
Yes, like dead ass. Like, do not inflict fucking terrible things on other human beings. Nobody, I think some people deserve to be decked in the face. Absolutely. But nobody deserves to be murdered. Like,
No,
no.
like what is it? Is it Shannon Sharon Tate? I think it's Shannon. I forget her name. That's known as
Yeah,
like the Tate LaBianca Manson murders. Like that shouldn't have happened to her, and they
yeah.
all went to jail for that. But y'all should have got stabbed too. So
No,
there's that.
yeah, y'all should have been stabbed to death in a vulnerable state. Like, no, fuck you. I
Like if
hope,
you
yeah.
kill a pregnant lady, like who's like begging you, then you're shit.
Literally, I was so pissed. We went to Zach Bagan's like museum or whatever, and they had like Charles Manson like shit in there, and he had like a really nice pair of dentures, boy, from prison. I'm like, no, he does not deserve dentures. He a boy, if I'd have been a fucking like inmate with his ass, I'd have taken them fucking dentures and slammed him against a wall. Like there are seniors out here that the only crime they've committed is just being fucking like not being like wealthy enough, and they don't get dentures that they need. And Charles Manson has fucking dentures. Boy, bye. He can go to hell. No,
Yeah, I agree.
No, I
no,
think prison justice is like I'm here for it. Like them people that like killed the child molesters and everything. I'm like, you do it. I don't judge you.
no.
You do
Fuck
what
it. No, like
like
what was it? Gat the lady that like really abused her son to the point of death. That was it Gabriel Fernandez or something? His mom, boy,
mhm.
no, they should just give her the electric chair. Like they should literally just bring it back. Like people don't be like, no, they need to bring capital punishment back. They really do.
Yeah, I'm
They
gonna
really
be straight
do.
up with all my listeners, all our small handful of people. Um, I do think that if you take the life of somebody else, even more so, like if it's a child, that you shouldn't you should there should be like an actual punishable consequence where you don't get to live anymore because like
Literally.
the Bible says we can do an eye for an eye, it's a death for a death. So if you're religious in that sense, I think you like they stoned and crushed people. Like
Yes.
if someone does a bad shit, I think they should be able to have that bad shit returned to them and not get to just make paintings in prison like some clown man who shoved little boys in his crawl space.
Oh, and
Um,
also take our tax money. No, I don't know. I want you to fucking die. Like, I'm sorry. We support capital punishment on this channel. Like, I'm sorry.
TJ is surprisingly quiet.
No, I agree 100%. If you take a life, you should have your life taken.
And that goes for child molesters too, because you are like literally destroying an entire life. Like that
So
child will never be the same.
anybody that molests or rapes anybody should be raped and molested too. Of course, they might enjoy it, so that probably wouldn't work out for them.
Oh my
I don't know.
god.
I don't know. I can't think. I can't think as a molester or a rapist because I'm not one. So I don't know.
So my end thoughts on this, because I could just keep talking about this because there's like so many things that are interesting. Um, Speaking of, these serial killers, because we were talking about, like Manson and Mr. Gacy and, the Jeffrey Dahmer show and all that shit. I do want to specify that I think we should, as a cultural society, I like listening to true crime. I like listening to the things that happened, like the logistics of it. I think it's interesting that someone can do that, but it does not take away from the fact that it's like fucking horrible that somebody did that to somebody, and I don't think they should be like romanticized and like idolized like Netflix managed to do there. Um, that weirds me out that like
Yeah.
we're like, oh, the hot serial killer.
Yeah. I'm like, come on now. Y'all do better.
Like,
Do better.
yeah, because I don't know. I feel like making movies and TV shows, like, and casting actors to play these people that things happen to, especially if their families are like still alive, and
Yes.
like if you're not doing it in a documentary style, I don't like them, because I don't know, it just seems disrespectful and weird. Like you're playing out somebody living like a horrible moment of their life, and
Yes.
that's just weird to me. Um, like, and I went to I don't know if Amanda, if you've been yet to the serial killer museum we have here in Savannah. Um,
I weirdly enough have not been. I have not been.
like it's interesting, and it's because I wanted to go because it has like some roadside oddities in it too, which was
Oh yeah.
interesting. Um, and I know Amanda and I went to the medieval torture museum when we were in St. Augustine.
The
So
day
like,
before my wedding.
so weird museums, but they have like letters from Charles Manson and like John Wayne Gacy paintings and like Heaven's Gate shit and
Yeah.
the Jamestown murders, and it's weird to like see them because I think an exhibit on them kind of like brings you to the fact this is a person who did this is an actual person, and then you're like reading things that they wrote, and it's just weird, like fascinating. If you're in Savannah, there is a museum called the Graveface Museum, which is
Yeah.
has a lot of serial killer information in it, and it's interesting and weird at the same time. TJ, if you ever visit again, I'll take you.
Oh, goody. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the content and if you want to hear more intriguing unsolved mysteries or thrillers, unsolved mysteries, let us know because I can tell you right conspiracy titties because I know Grace will definitely be more than happy to
Yeah.
round up another set. But we all appreciate you all listening. And we're going to be back for another episode where Amanda will be taking the reins for our
Oh
next episode.
goodness, it's gonna be awesome.
It's going to be
Yeah.
really good. And then I'm going to be going
Yay.
after her, and it's going to be amazing.
Amazing.
They're all
Amazing.
still related to dead people, so just so everybody knows that we're just apparently
We're
we're just gonna
going
talk
Yes,
about
through
dead people.
it.
it's spooky season, y'all.
We missed October. We're regressing.
Yeah, we missed October, so we're going to backpedal. But in the
I
meantime, go ahead, Amanda. What'd you say?
I can't go back to fall. I can't. I get seasonal depression. I'm like, we'll do the spooky stuff, but I also want it to be sunny and 70 degrees outside.
No, I missed the cold weather already.
Mhm.
Yuck.
It's a sunny
Whatever.
70 degrees with a forecast of death.
Literally. Me going to burn myself alive in a sun bed tomorrow.
Oh
Are
my
you gonna
god.
put the Playboy bunny sticky on?
I am. I'm gonna get like some kind of fucking like Playboy bunny sticker and just like burn myself alive. Like
How
fuck
else will
it.
you know?
Fuck
And on
it.
that, everybody, we'll see you again soon. My name is Doc, and these are the other bitches.
Bye.
Bye.